That's what you're called to do as man. A poor, pitiful me, oppressed mindset, and everybody's out against me, and it's not fair. That's not going to cut it in life. There's no life hacks, there's no shortcuts, there's no poor, pitiful me, misery parties that are going to get you out of this state. If you want to become better, if you want to become stronger, we have to take advantage of what we have right now. Gentlemen, what's going on? We choose to reject weakness. Be strong, get stronger, reject the negative mindset the rest of the world succumbs to. This is the Better Man channel, where we choose to reject anything that would make us weak, physically, spiritually, emotionally. We choose to take ownership of the day, of our lives, of our mindset, of our physicality, our spiritualness, our emotional capacity to be more. I was recently watching Michael Knowles. I'll put a link in the description for his channel, but he was talking about these woke commercials. And we can look around us today and we just see a society that's very degenerate, right? That's just accepting the weakness of modernity, just becoming these, for lack of a better word, weak soy boy generation that has no idea of what it means to actually sustain a livable society, man, based on principles and values and strength and the very nature that it means to be a masculine man and uphold that position. And in one of these commercials, they were in a bar, and this woman representing Medusa had glasses on, and this patron in the bar was kind of noticing her. Then he winked at her, smiled. She took off her glasses and turned him to stone. We live in a culture today where that's harassment, where it's usually just letting them know, hey, I'm flirting with you. I like you. He did it in the least harassing way that you can, from a distance, didn't even speak, a smile and a wink to say, hey, I like you. She could have just said, not interested, but this chick turned him to stone. In essence, to me, representing the feminist movement, where we're turning men to stone for them being that very virile nature that they possess, that was praised and applauded in antiquity. Oh, a man noticing me, winking at me, noticing my value, my beauty, my looks, my intellect, all these things. But feminists say no to that. And we see this trickling down in this degenerate society. And I noticed in another video talking about men being strong, there was this person that's saying it's okay to be weak. It's okay to be weak, and applauding that very concept that it's okay to be weak. And we see this society today. We see people with their pronouns. We see people with this gender crisis. We see people on the left stating that it's okay to be weak because they're in this vulnerable position. They don't have an identity. They've been handed participation trophies for too long that they think it's okay to just kind of show up and get by. But that's not the case. The very country that those people live in is not founded on just getting by. It's founded on being strong. This country doesn't allow those vines to creep into the crevices and crack our foundation so that we no longer have anything to stand on. This country's built on being strong and to move towards that strength, both in physicality, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, to be strong and grounded. But we see a culture today that is at the brink of its own demise because we're accepting these false truths that it's okay to be weak. You don't have to get up and be strong. Just be you. You're not flawed. You're okay. It's the rest of the world that's flawed in their toxic masculinity in this patriarchy society. No. We have to begin to reject this. And I don't care who we are or how masculine we are in this day and age, in one degree or another, we've allowed this weakness to creep in one area of our life. Maybe it's in our physical area where we think, yeah, it's okay to have that dad bod and be 30 pounds overweight. In reality, no, it's not. It's okay to kind of reject some spiritual truth. We have to have an higher aim. And that's what we see. And I love Nietzsche. And he said, he's famous for God is dead and we have killed him. And many times we take that out of context. What he's saying is that we've killed this higher morality. We've killed the values that Christianity has brought in, that most of Western culture is his morals is based on. When you kill that, then you see this kind of chaotic anarchy state going on, and that's what we see. No one has directions. No one believes in any sense of morality. Left is right, up is down, and we see that degeneration in this current society. And we're seeing the very backbone that has upheld the values and principles of life, especially in this country since day one, is men and that masculine nature to be leaders, to be assertive. But even as men, we've started accepting those little white lies. Well, I don't have to be a man. I don't have to assert my position. And maybe I shouldn't do this. And maybe I shouldn't do that. And it all creeps in. And eventually our foundation is cracked away because those roots, those evil roots of lies and this ideology creep in, and they tear away the very structure of what it means to be man. And we see that in society today. Instead of rejecting weakness, instead of rejecting less than ideas, instead of standing up, we've allowed a little bit of that to come in, and it's twisted the very trunk of our tree, and now we're leaning over, and we're about to fall down if we don't upright ourselves and correct that direction. We're men, created to be strong, created to be logical in our thinking, to say, hey, wait a minute, something doesn't add up here. And I believe we're seeing a turnaround in that. We're obviously seeing some red pill content where men are saying, hey, this isn't adding up. But I think we get caught up in that a lot of times, and we kind of get caught in that red pill rage, and we're not doing anything to correct it. As far as long term, we see men kind of turning away from women, and I think that can cause some short term turnarounds. Hey, women are start saying, well, what's going on here? But we also need men to stand up on the podium and say, hey, this is what society needs. This is the values that we need to uphold. This is what it means to be strong. This is weak. This is strong. There's no gray line. We have to choose one or the other. And I choose to be on the strong side. I choose to uphold those values, those beliefs, those characteristics that enable society to progress and move on and actually sustain itself. We can't have a whole generation claiming that weakness is okay, because I promise you there are other countries that will take advantages of us when that is our state of mind. We have to have a generation that begins to turn away from that and says, we're no longer going to accept this. There's 300 genders. We're no longer going to accept this participation trophy culture. We want to be strong. We want this hierarchical system of competition that makes us better. And if you won't get better, then you're going to be on the sidelines. And we're not here to give handouts, right? We're here to reach out our hand, and if you're willing to accept it, then this is the direction we're going in. But we're not gonna allow your weakness to collapse us. We're not gonna allow your weakness to collapse our communities, our country, our principles, our values, the very truths of what it means to be man, of what it means to be woman, of what it means to produce a damn life that's worth living. We see chaos and this degenerate society trying to tell us, and trying to brainwash the youth of today, and trying to brainwash the sheep of today, and trying to brainwash anyone that's just trying to look to grab a hold of some kind of meaning, that life is what they make it, since they weren't able to make life themselves. So now they're just going to kind of turn values upside down and say it's okay to be weak. You don't have to put forth any effort. It's okay to just be fat and overweight. And if they're shaming you, they're fat phobic, and everybody's phobic, and everybody's going to oppress you. No, nobody that is truly strong in mind, physical, intellectual, they're not shaming you. They could actually almost give two shits about you, because they're too busy doing what it takes to maintain a strong, valuable life. I'm not here to oppress anybody. I'm not here to impress anybody either. I'm here to live my best life based on values and principles and traditions since day one and antiquity, the beginning of time, that have upheld strong men going in a strong direction. That's what you're called to do as man. A poor, pitiful me, oppressed mindset, and everybody's out against me, and it's not fair. That's not going to cut it in life. There's no life hacks. There's no shortcuts. There's no poor, pitiful me, misery parties that are going to get you out of this state. If you want to become better, if you want to become stronger, we have to take advantage of what we have right now. And that's emulating men of the past and tradition that have upheld society with the virtues and characteristics of masculinity, leadership, assertiveness, aggression when needed, that dominant competence to rise the hierarchical ranks. That's what we're called to do as men, and whether women want to agree or not, that's what they're called to do too in their domain of their role and their polarities and their dynamics is what it means to be a feminine woman. But we need men to be masculine men and take the lead as well, so that we have that harmonious dance and dynamic complementary roles of those different polarities between man and woman. We see this collapse of genders. We see this collapse of identities. We see this collapse of values and traditions, and we wonder why our society is uprooted and it's just in this chaotic state. It's because no one is taking a position and saying, this is what it is, this is what we need, that is wrong, you are wrong. We're allowing them just to say, okay, and in essence, we're accepting their weakness. Look at other countries. They don't do that. They don't say, oh, okay, you're okay. You just pat you on that. In the past, those people they needed therapy. We said, oh my God, you got 14 pronouns and one of those is Damon. I seen that on a video. She said, I'm a Damon. That's my pronoun. Jesus, you need love. You need therapy. You need, some kind of relief. But now that's okay. And so I was watching Michael Knowles' video, and he had different commercials that were just kind of promoting this woke agenda where everything's okay. Everything is not okay. Rules, guidelines, and structures need apply if you want to arrive at a worthy direction. If you're running in circles and everything's okay to be weak and everything's okay to be spiritually out of tune and intellectually out of tune where there's no logic and no facts, you just get your information off some TikTok video, then we're going downhill. We need intellectually upright, strong men that are in tune with some high spiritual code. And I don't mean that in a religious sense necessary, but in tune with something higher, something to aim for, values, principles, tradition, what have you. We aim for that. We say, this is the direction. This is what it takes to uphold society. We're strong in that. We're strong physically, mentally, spiritually, all of the above, so that we can be that man that other people hold in esteem, want to emulate, and that society begins to move in that direction. It's not up to anybody else. It's up to you on an individual level to be that example to friends, family, community, and maybe that ripples out. One person doesn't change the world, they change themselves, and other people take notice of that, and maybe they want what we have when we begin accepting what it takes to actually be a man, actually be a productive member of society that actually contributes and doesn't take away. We get out of that state of, there's nothing I can do, it's all over. We say, there is something I can do, and I'm going to do it. I love you guys. You'll hear me next episode.